Chapter 39, The Lesson of Lightning. Marcus woke with his mind still buzzing from the previous night's intensive research on electrical systems. He starts filling his notebook with diagrams and simplified explanations, him being the bridge between two worlds of knowledge that might determine the fate of kingdoms. After a quick breakfast with his family, Marcus gathered his research materials and headed directly to Master Timon's chambers. The ancient wizard had requested a detailed explanation of electricity, and Marcus carried with him the weight of information that could change everything.
Master Timon, I have the information you requested about electrical principles.
He called softly at the chamber door.
Come in, Marcus of Millhaven. I've been eagerly awaiting this conversation.
Master Timon looked more rested than the previous evening, his sharp eyes bright with intellectual curiosity. His desk had been cleared except for several pieces of copper wire, small magnets, and what appeared to be a simple wooden frame. Apparently, the master had been preparing for a hands-on demonstration.
Before we begin, I should mention that explaining electricity to someone from a non-electrical world is like, imagine trying to explain magic to someone who's never seen it work.
He said, settling into the familiar chair across from the wizard's desk.
An apt comparison.
Master Timon said with a slight smile.
Proceed as if I'm an intelligent but completely ignorant student.
Marcus opened his notebook and began with the simplest possible analogy.
Think of electricity like water flowing through a stream. Master, water needs pressure to flow from one place to another. Electricity needs what we call voltage to move through materials like copper wire.
He picked up one of the copper wires from the desk.
Copper is like a smooth riverbed that water flows through easily. Other materials, like wood or stone, are like rocky, difficult terrain that resists the flow.
Master Timon nodded, his ancient mind clearly working to absorb these new concepts.
Oh, continue. Is.
Marcus took one of the small magnets and began moving it near the copper wire.
Now here's where it becomes truly remarkable. When you move a magnet near copper wire, or move copper wire near a magnet, you actually create electrical flow. The movement generates the pressures that pushes electricity through the wire.
Smanny, Master Timon murmured, watching Marcus's demonstration intently.
So the steam turbines in that drawing.
Exactly. Steam pressure turns wheels, wheels spin, magnets spinning, magnets create electrical flow in copper wire.
He sketched a quick diagram showing the complete process.
It's like using water wheels to grind grain, but instead of mechanical power, you're creating this invisible force that can travel instantly across great distances.
Master Timon leaned back in his chair, the implications clearly registering.
And what can this electricity accomplish once it's been generated?
Marcus felt his excitement building as he explained the possibilities.
Light without fire, Master. Communication across hundreds of miles in moments. Machines that can operate without human or animal power.
He paused, then added more grimly,
and weapons that could devastate armies from impossible distances.
The strategic implications, Master Timon said quietly, his expression growing troubled.
If Malachar can establish electrical communication between his facilities, he could coordinate attacks across the entire kingdom simultaneously, no more relying on messenger birds or mounted couriers that take days to deliver orders.
Marcus demonstrated the basic principle using the copper wire and magnets, showing how moving the magnet created a small electrical current that could theoretically carry signals.
In my other world, we use this for what we call telegraph systems, instant written communication over vast distances.
Master Timon was quiet for several minutes, clearly processing the revolutionary nature of what he'd learned. Finally, he spoke with the weight of someone who'd lived through nearly 2 centuries of political and military conflict.
This changes everything, Marcus. If Malachar truly has access to such capabilities, traditional military strategy becomes obsolete. Our entire defensive planning assumes limitations that may no longer exist.
Which brings me to something else I've been thinking about. Master, if Malachar has access to modern knowledge, then our traditional magical education system isn't sufficient to counter him. We need to broaden education throughout the kingdom, not just for elite children or those with magical affinities.
Master Timon's eyebrows rose with interest.
Explain your reasoning.
In my otherworld, innovation comes from unexpected places. Some of our greatest inventors and problem solvers were common people who understood practical applications better than scholars. If we only educate nobles and mages, we're ignoring the creative potential of blacksmiths, farmers, craftsmen, people who solve real problems every day.
Marcus pulled out another notebook filled with ideas he'd developed during his research.
Imagine if every village blacksmith understood basic engineering principles. If every farmer knew advanced agricultural techniques, if every merchant could read, write, and calculate complex business operations.
The economic and social implications would be staggering,
Master Timon said thoughtfully.
but also the resistance from established power structures.
That's exactly why we need to do it carefully, systematically. Start with practical applications that improve people's lives immediately. When they see the benefits, they'll support broader education initiatives.
Master Timon stood and walked to his window, looking out over the academy grounds where students from wealthy families received education that common people could never access.
Marcus, this is perhaps even more revolutionary than your mechanical innovations. You're proposing to fundamentally reshape how knowledge is distributed throughout our society.
Yes, Master, because if we don't, Malachar will continue to have advantages we can't match with traditional approaches.
Master Timon returned to his desk, his expression carrying both excitement and deep concern.
There's something else we must discuss. My growing concerns about infiltrators within the academy itself.
Marcus felt a chill at the serious tone in the old wizard's voice.
The patterns we discussed yesterday, the convenient timing of supply disruptions, the strategic information that seems to reach enemy forces. I believe we have agents operating within our own walls.
What kind of evidence?
He asked.
Subtle things, meeting schedules that get leaked to the wrong people, resources that disappear just when they're needed most, students and faculty who ask oddly specific questions about academy defenses and capabilities.
Master Timon fixed Marcus with an intense stare.
I need your help identifying them, your fresh perspective, your analytical approach from another world. You might notice patterns that someone immersed in academy politics would miss.
What do you need me to do?
He asked.
Observe, listen, build relationships with different factions within the academy, report anything that seems suspicious or inconsistent.
Master Timon paused, then added,
But be extremely careful. If there are agents here approaching this investigation carelessly, could put you and your family in serious danger.
Marcus left Master Timon's chambers with his mind reeling from the scope of what they'd discussed. Educational revolution, electrical warfare, counterintelligence operations. The challenges seemed to multiply with each conversation, but he also carried a sense of purpose that felt more focused than anything he'd experienced in either world. These weren't abstract academic exercises. These were urgent, practical problems that required immediate attention and creative solutions. Walking through Drakmoor's busy streets toward Aldrich's shop, Marcus reflected on how much his role had evolved. He'd started as a refugee trying to help his family survive. Now he was potentially a key figure in defending an entire kingdom against technologically advanced threats. The responsibility was overwhelming but also energizing. For the first time in his life, Marcus felt like his unique knowledge and perspective were genuinely needed for something that mattered. Aldrich's shop appeared ahead, and Marcus quickened his pace. He needed to check on their business progress and discuss future plans. But as he approached the familiar storefront, he noticed something that made him pause. The shop looked different. Cleaner, more organized, with new signage that suggested recent investment or improvement. Either business was going very well, or something else was happening. Marcus pushed open the door to find Aldrich behind the counter, practically glowing with excitement and nervous energy. Sarah was organizing inventory, but her usual cheerful demeanor seemed subdued.
Marcus, perfect timing. I have incredible news to share.
He called enthusiastically. Marcus approached the counter, noting the tension between his business partner's excitement and Sarah's obvious unhappiness.
What's the news?
What? He asked.
Progress, my friend. Slow and small, but real progress. We've been making steady sales even without your hands-on help, and I've been exploring new opportunities.
Aldrich's voice carried the pride of someone who'd overcome significant challenges through determination and hard work.
To pay off the remaining debt to the Blackstone brothers, I've been meeting with potential business partners, major investors who could transform our entire operation.
Marcus felt a familiar caution rising.
What kind of investors?
He asked.
Lord Brightmoor, for example. Very promising discussions about strategic positioning and expanded market access.
Marcus's eyes widened with surprise and concern.
Lord Brightmoor? Lara's father? Aldrich, are you sure about this? They're incredibly wealthy. Why would they take interest in our small soap and paper business?
Aldrich's excitement remained undampened.
That's exactly what makes it so valuable, Marcus. He understands strategic positioning in Drakmore's commercial district, our shop's location, our established customer base, our innovative products. He sees potential that could benefit both our families.
From across the shop, Sarah made a noise that might have been a suppressed sigh or scoff. When Marcus glanced her way, she was aggressively reorganizing bottles that had already been perfectly arranged.
What kind of strategic positioning is he discussing?
He asked carefully.
Expansion opportunities, market development, possibly even.
He paused, his excitement building to what was clearly the most important revelation.
Possibly even joining our houses through marriage arrangements.
Marcus felt his stomach drop as the implications became clear.
Marriage arrangements?
He asked.
Lord Brightmore is very interested in Lara marrying into a successful merchant family. And with our innovations and growth potential, Marcus, this could secure our financial future and elevate our social position beyond anything we dreamed.
Marcus glanced again at Sarah, who was now gripping a bottle with enough force to potentially shatter it. Her face was carefully controlled, but her emotions were clearly visible to anyone who knew her well.
Aldrich, this sounds like a significant opportunity, but it also sounds complicated. Are you certain Lord Brightmore's interests align with ours? And have you considered how this might affect our current partnerships and working relationships?
Aldrich looked puzzled by Marcus's caution.
What do you mean? This is exactly the kind of breakthrough we've been working toward.
Marcus chose his words carefully, aware that Sarah was listening to every word.
I just think we should be cautious about major decisions that could change the fundamental nature of our business. Make sure we understand all the implications before committing to anything.
Of course.
He agreed quickly.
Nothing's been decided yet. But Marcus, the possibilities.
His voice trailed off with obvious excitement about futures he was imagining. Marcus left the shop feeling deeply unsettled by the conversation. Lord Brightmore's sudden interest in their business seemed suspicious, especially given Master Timon's warnings about infiltrators and agents, and the personal dynamics between Aldrich, Sarah, and Lara were becoming increasingly complicated. Walking back toward the academy, Marcus realized that the challenges in his personal relationships were becoming as complex as the political and military threats they faced. Managing business partnerships, romantic tensions, and family loyalties while simultaneously investigating potential spies and developing educational reforms was proving to be an exhausting balancing act. As he walked through the market district, a desperate voice called out to him from a small, makeshift stall.
Come on, help out this poor lady who needs money. 2 copper. No, 1 copper for your future.
A woman in threadbare clothes was holding up a painted board with symbols. Marcus was about to politely decline when he recognized the woman's features. It was Celestine, the suspicious refugee who had traveled with their caravan and kept appearing in odd places throughout Drakmore.
I know you,
he said, approaching cautiously.
You keep showing up here and there. Whose spy are you?
Celestine deflected with a laugh that seemed both genuine and practiced.
Who would take a beggar as a spy? I'm just trying to tell fortunes.
She gestured to her makeshift board, which was painted with crude drawings of planets and stars.
See? I read the signs in the heavens.
Despite his suspicions, Marcus found himself intrigued by the astronomical drawings.
Who drew this?
He asked, studying the board more closely.
I did, dear. Had to make something to attract customers.
Marcus examined the star chart with growing fascination.
Is different. Every other star drawing I've seen at the Academy puts the planet in the center, but this...
I don't know about Academy drawings,
she replied with a shrug.
I just drew what felt right.
Marcus looked more closely and felt a chill of recognition. The drawing showed the sun at the center with planets orbiting around it. A solar system arrangement. But the planetary positions were different from what he knew from his modern world. The number of planets was wrong, and their relative positions didn't match Earth's solar system.
This is remarkable,
he said, reaching into his pouch for coins.
Here, 2 copper pieces. Thank you for showing me this.
Celestine pocketed the coins with obvious relief.
Thank you, young master. May the stars smile upon your path.
As Marcus walked away, his mind raced with implications. If this wasn't a parallel universe to his own, if the astronomical system was different, then what exactly was Valdris? And how was he connected to it? He forced himself to focus on more immediate concerns. The mysteries of interdimensional travel could wait. He had pressing problems to solve in both worlds, but it was also becoming clear that everything was connected. Personal relationships affected business decisions, business partnerships created political opportunities, and political connections could either strengthen or undermine their position in the larger conflict. As the Academy came into view, Marcus made a mental note to discuss Lord Brightmoor with Master Timon. If wealthy nobles were suddenly taking interest in refugee businesses, it could be genuine opportunity, calculated manipulation, or something even more dangerous. In a world where interdimensional warfare was being conducted using stolen magnets and electrical generation, nothing could be taken at face value.